Hello, welcome back to Financial Lit Storytelling. Today, we're learning about tokenization. Let's begin. The hidden rewrite of ownership. Tokenization. For most of human history, ownership was simple. You either held something in your hands or you didn't. Land was marked by fences. Gold was locked in vaults. Houses had keys. Stocks were pieces of paper. Even money itself was something you could physically touch. Ownership felt real because it was physical. But something has been quietly changing. Not loudly. Not with headlines. Not with fireworks. Silently. Ownership is being rewritten, and the tool doing it is called tokenization. Tokenization is the process of turning real-world assets into digital tokens that live on a blockchain. But that sentence doesn't really explain anything. So let's slow down. Imagine you own a house. Traditionally, that ownership is recorded in a government registry. Paperwork, signatures, legal systems, lawyers, delays, fees. If you want to sell it, you list it, wait, negotiate, transfer deeds, and hope nothing breaks in the process. Now imagine that same house is broken into 1 million digital pieces. Each piece is a token. Each token represents a fraction of ownership. Those tokens can be bought, sold, traded, or transferred instantly across the world without needing permission from a bank, broker, or government office. That is tokenization. It doesn't just digitize assets. It atomizes them. It breaks them into pieces small enough for anyone to touch. A painting worth $50 million can become 50 million $1 tokens. A skyscraper can be owned by 10,000 strangers. A company can issue ownership without stock exchanges. Land, music royalties, carbon credits, debt, identities, votes, intellectual property, anything that can be represented can be tokenized. This is not a theory. This is already happening. And most people don't realize what that means, because tokenization isn't about convenience. It's about power. For centuries, ownership has been controlled by gatekeepers. Banks decided who could invest. Governments decided what counted as legal ownership. Corporations decided who could access opportunities. Tokenization dissolves gates, not because it is kind, but because it is efficient, and efficiency always rewrites power. When assets become tokens, they become liquid. Liquidity means something can be easily traded. Before, selling a house could take months. A tokenized house can be sold in seconds. Before, investing in fine art required millions. Now, it can require $10. Before, private markets were locked behind wealth. Now they can be accessed by anyone with a wallet. That sounds beautiful. But every beautiful thing has a shadow. Because when ownership becomes frictionless, it becomes volatile. When assets can move instantly, they can leave instantly. When anyone can buy, anyone can sell. When value flows freely, stability becomes fragile. Tokenization doesn't just democratize ownership, it destabilizes it. And this is where things get interesting. Because tokenization changes not just what you own, But what ownership even means? Traditionally, ownership implied control. If you owned something, you controlled it. You could use it, alter it, protect it. Tokenized ownership is different. You may own a fraction of something, but have zero control over it. You may own a token that represents real estate, but cannot enter the building. You may own a token that represents music rights, but cannot play the song. You may own a token that represents a company, but cannot influence it. You own value, not control. That distinction matters, because control is power, and tokenization separates power from possession. This allows something strange to happen. People can feel wealthy without being powerful. And systems can be powerful without appearing wealthy. Ownership becomes symbolic, and symbols can be engineered. Tokenization also creates something called composability. That means assets can be stacked, merged, split, and embedded into other systems. A token can be collateral for a loan. That loan can be tokenized. That token can be traded. That trade can be fractionalized. That fraction can be automated. Value becomes programmable. Money becomes code. Ownership becomes math. And when ownership becomes math, it becomes optimized. Optimized for speed. Optimized for profit. Optimized for extraction. Not necessarily optimized for humans. This is why tokenization is not neutral. It carries incentives. It rewards those who move early. It rewards those who understand systems. It rewards those who can anticipate flows. Tokenization doesn't make everyone equal. It makes everything tradable. And those are not the same thing. When everything is tradable, everything becomes financialized. Your home becomes an asset. Your time becomes a stream. Your reputation becomes a score. Your identity becomes a token. And suddenly, value is everywhere. But so is surveillance. Because tokenization requires ledgers. And ledgers require tracking. Every token move is recorded. Every transaction is permanent. Every transfer leaves a trail. This creates radical transparency, but not necessarily for everyone. Some people will see everything. Others will be seen. Tokenization can reduce corruption, but it can also perfect it. It can eliminate middlemen, but it can replace them with invisible systems. It can increase access, but also increase exposure. Because when ownership becomes digital, it becomes hackable. Not just technically, psychologically, behaviorally, financially. Tokenization changes how people think. If you can sell anything at any time, commitment weakens. If everything has a price, meaning shifts. If everything is liquid, nothing is rooted. This is not good or bad. It is powerful, and power always reshapes culture. Tokenization also changes who gets opportunity. Historically, the wealthy accessed private deals. Tokenization opens private markets, but private markets are private for a reason. They are risky, illiquid, opaque. Tokenization removes friction, not risk. So people may enter systems they don't understand. Not because they are foolish, but because the interface feels simple. And simple interfaces hide complexity. Tokenization doesn't reduce complexity. It hides it. This is why the future of ownership will not be obvious. It will feel smooth. But smooth does not mean safe. Smooth means optimized. And optimization has no ethics, only goals. Now let's talk about what tokenization quietly enables. It enables micro-ownership, which enables mass participation, which enables mass speculation, which enables mass behavioral influence. If you can nudge millions of people with tiny incentives, you can shape economies. If people own fragments of everything, they become emotionally invested in everything. If they are emotionally invested, they are predictable. Predictability is valuable. Tokenization turns ownership into a behavioral layer, not just an economic one. This is why tokenization is not just finance. It's psychology, it's governance, it's infrastructure, it's social engineering. And most people think it's just about crypto. It's not. Crypto was the prototype. Tokenization is the architecture. The real shift is not digital money. It is digital ownership. And once ownership is digital, it can be automated. And once it is automated, it can be conditioned. This is not dystopia. This is system design. And system design always shapes behavior. Now let's bring this down to earth. What does this mean for you? It means access will increase. You will be able to invest in things once reserved for elites. But it also means volatility will increase. Because liquidity makes exits easy, it means transparency will increase. But privacy may decrease. It means opportunity will grow. But so will complexity. Tokenization will reward those who understand it, not those who ignore it, not those who fear it, not those who assume it is just another trend. It is a structural shift. Like the internet, like electricity, like money itself. It changes how value moves. And whoever understands value flows controls outcomes. Now let's recap everything clearly and simply. Tokenization is the process of converting real-world assets into digital tokens on a blockchain. These tokens represent ownership or claims to value. They can be traded instantly, globally, and often without intermediaries. This increases liquidity, access, and efficiency, but it also increases volatility, abstraction, and behavioral influence. Tokenization separates ownership from control. It makes value programmable. It turns assets into modular pieces. It financializes more of life. And it shifts power toward those who understand systems rather than those who simply possess things. As of 2026, tokenization is being applied to real estate, stocks, bonds, art, carbon credits, identity systems, and even government infrastructure experiments. Major financial institutions are actively building tokenized asset platforms. This is not fringe, it is foundational. Tokenization does not ask permission. It replaces systems. And systems shape everything. Understanding tokenization is not about getting rich. It is about understanding how ownership itself is being redefined. And when ownership changes, society changes. Quietly. Irreversibly. Do you have any experience with tokenized assets or digital ownership? Leave a comment below and share what you learned.